When Jackery reached out to review their new Solar Generator 2000 V2, we decided to run a fun experiment with our tiny house because we're finally ready to take it off the grid.
But the question is, how long will it actually power our tiny house? This solar generator comes with the Explorer 2000 V2 power station, which features a substantial 2,042 watt-hour capacity, a 2,200 watt output, and a 4,400 watt surge peak.
It also comes with an AC charging cable and two 200 watt Solar Saga panels. Okay, let's get this baby set up to run our experiment.
So our tiny house has a 30 amp plug, but because we only have a few appliances that don't have a really big draw, we're able to run it on a 15 amp, basically a household plug.
Yes, and that's perfect because the 2000 V2 does not have a 30 amp outlet, but their three 120 volt AC outlets are each rated at 18.3 amps. We'll use an RV 30 amp to 15 amp plug adapter to plug the entire house into the 2000 V2.
For our test, we're gonna put the power station on the deck, but if we were gonna keep it in the house full time to power the tiny house, there's a nice little cubby underneath our sofa that it would fit perfectly. So about 6 years ago, we did have another power station. It was only 1,000 watts, I think.
Yeah.
And it completely filled up this little cubby underneath the sofa. It was absolutely massive.
And heavy.
So it's nice that they've managed to get 2,000 watts into this little box. It's amazing.
Jackery actually found a way to reduce the size by 40% from the previous version and is 34% lighter now. That's about 20 pounds or more lighter than competitor power stations of the same capacity. So significant progress.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got the tiny house plugged into the 2000 V2 and it's powering everything in here except for our water heater and our range because those run on propane.
So really the only thing now that's drawing power is our little fridge. All of the lights are turned off because it's daytime, we don't need them.
But we are going to turn everything on, of course, so we can see what the total draw is and how long the V2 can power this thing. But let's plug in the solar panels first.
Yes.
For the sake of this experiment, we're going to use the provided Jackery panels. But you might have noticed that we already have solar panels mounted on the roof.
The solar panels on the roof were used for our old power station, but because of where we parked our tiny house, they were on the wrong side of the house.
In the near future, we're going to be moving the tiny house to a different spot, and we're probably going to take
them off.
the panels off and put them somewhere where we can get max sunlight.
But those two panels are about 360 watts a piece. So powered together, they would actually be too much to go into the power station.
Yes, that's actually a downside of the 2000 V2 is that the max solar input is 400 watts, which is significantly less than competitors. Compared to the Jackery 2000 Plus, which we reviewed earlier this summer, it's a third of the input. The 2000 Plus could take in 1,400 watts, and it actually has the same base watt hours as the V2, which is a very different solar input.
So we positioned the Solar Saga panels as best we could for the sunlight. The problem is there's only a 7-foot cord that comes with it, so we could only get it so far.
I think you can get an extension cord.
Which would make sense.
Also, as you notice, we're on a very wooded lot, so there's only so much solar we're gonna be able to get. And on that same page, even though these panels are each rated for 200 watts each, there's all kinds of things that impact how much solar they're actually collecting, like how sunny it is, and also how efficient the panels are.
What's great about the latest version of the Solar Saga panels is it has an ultra-high 24.3% conversion efficiency rate. That's in part because they're bifacial. That means they can capture sunlight on both sides.
So ideally, if we're able to capture 400 watts of solar input from our two panels, that would recharge the power station in about 5.5 hours if it was at 0%.
And during the day, all we're trying to do is offset the power that we're using inside with the solar panels.
All right, everything's set up, so let's turn everything on in the tiny house that we can.
That's me.
So it's time to turn on all the lights. Oop.
I guess the bathroom too, right?
Yep. And we're gonna plug in our phones and our laptops, and we'll get this TV set up so we can get an idea of our total draw from the power station.
With everything turned on, now it's time to check the app. What do we got?
Okay. The power station is at 97% charge. We're getting 6 watts of solar.
To be expected. It's real shady over there,
It
so
is.
that makes sense.
And our current output is around 386 or 88 watts, which is kind of nothing.
Yeah, it's still kind of nothing. So if the solar panels were in optimal position,
Yeah.
it would be pushing in about 400 watts, right?
Well, that's ideal.
Ideal, yeah. What did you say it was?
388.
388. So there's a very possible that with everything on, we could still get more power from the solar panels.
Fair point. If we were able to really put them in the optimal position. But on that note, based on our current output, it says it can run everything for 5 hours. That's most of a day. And like you said, with ideal solar input, we could probably get 3 times that
Yeah, well, we would definitely get us,
the entire day.
and then we would have enough left over for the evening.
So yeah, with better solar input, we could run this all day, maybe all night, based on our output right now. But the reality is, we don't watch TV all day long. We don't need our phones plugged in all day or our laptops plugged in all day. So really our power draw fluctuates. And sometimes it's going to be incredibly low.
Half that at least.
I will throw in a little curveball. At night, when it's cold, like tonight, it's going to get down to 34. We're going to turn our heater on. Side note, we use a oil radiator electric heater that's very efficient. And to be honest, even in the middle of the winter, we typically just have it on low.
Yeah.
Because it's so well insulated in here that if you turn it up too high, we'll be sweating at night.
Totally. But it is efficient. It's like a refrigerator where it's not on constantly. So it'll turn on and off throughout the night. But it is the biggest draw of power.
And in the middle of the night, besides the fridge, it's the only thing turned on. So let's try to simulate that now by turning off all the rest of the stuff in the house.
Okay.
All right, we are fluctuating between around 827 and 835 watts.
That makes sense because low is 800-ish. And if I turn it to high, it goes up to about 1500. But I do think if with it turning on and off overnight, I bet we would get really close to depleting almost the whole battery. It would be really close.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that's where having good solar position really matters. So it's fair to say that the Jackery 2000 V2 can run our tiny house
Yeah, it can for sure run it.
for a period of 24 hours with careful power use.
Yeah, totally. The summer, the sun comes up at 5:30 and is up till almost 9:30. So that's a lot of sunlight. It should run this no problem all day long and probably through the whole night. In the winter, I think it would be quite a bit less. It would be nice not having to worry about it so much, especially when there's not that much sunlight.
Yeah, and for that matter, I would say as a full-time tiny house power source, I think I would choose the Jackery 2000 Plus, which we reviewed earlier this summer, for 2 main reasons. One, it has 1400 watt solar input. That's crazy. And second, it could be expanded. So with an expansion battery, you can double the watt hours, which means double the runtime. And that's huge, and that covers those times when you're not going to have much sun. It just gives you a lot more peace of mind. And if you want to learn more about that, check out our review video. I'll put a link in the description below.
But with that said, I think the 2000 V2 is an absolutely solid portable power station that can be used in many ways due to its high capacity and tiny size.
It's important to point out that because of its output, again, it has a 2200 watt output with a 4400 surge peak. Because of that, it has a powerful enough inverter to handle large household appliances like a full-size refrigerator, a microwave, a portable AC. So when you combine the output with its 2042 watt-hour capacity, you can achieve enough runtime to make the 2000 V2 really an excellent short-term emergency power supply, something great to put in a disaster preparedness kit.
Oh, and if you know bad weather's coming, you can use the emergency supercharge feature to charge the 2000 V2 from 0 to 100% in about an hour and a half. That's 30 minutes less than regular wall charging.
Another top feature is its ultra quiet operation, which can be less than 30 decibels. That's on par or better than competitor models, and the same is true about its 5-year full warranty.
But what everybody's waiting for, of course, is how much does this thing cost?
Great question.
Thank you.
So the regular retail price of the Explorer 2000 V2 is about $1,500, and the solar generator kit that comes with those 2 solar panels is $2,500.
And that's not the cheapest one out there, but it really isn't the most expensive one either.
And the good news is there's fantastic sales that run pretty regularly, like right now. And to save even more, you can use our exclusive discount code, which is in the description below, along with the link.
And we'd like to know what you guys think about the Jackery Solar Generator 2000 V2. Let us know in the comments below.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.